day, fellow astronauts, astroneers, explorers. In this episode, we're going to talk about what I feel is the best base layout ever. No power bottlenecks, 24-hour base, day or night you should be good with power. So stick around, check it out, and we're just gonna have fun. Alright, we are back. And before I go too much over the base, just as a quick disclaimer, me and a couple of friends built the base. This was not my entire build. I set up the layout, but then friends came and logged in. I had friends helping me get the resources. It was a super big friend kumbaya, everybody loves everyone moment, and it just came together magically, and I love it when that happens. However, I am horrible in names, so if you participated in base building, please leave a comment, and we could make sure those attributions are distributed accordingly. So I had so much fun building the space. The layout to me is probably one of the most efficient so far in my Astroneer career. You basically start off with your pod, right? You find a pretty level flat piece of ground, then you extend out in one direction. I think you want to do it north and south. That seems to work well for me. There's always like wind here, so that's why it's a 24-hour base. As long as you have a wind turbine on each end of your base, you should be okay. But wind can be one of those finicky things. So all we have here is I love how I set up the starship here in the, that's not really a starship, it's a spaceship here in the middle. Use these seats because you can switch the load out better. The 3-seat, yeah, if you have 3 fans, by all means go for the 3-seat. It's kind of expensive, but being copper though. And this way, if you end up playing alone, which your lowered frame rates will probably drive you to do, you can pull off 1 seat and still have additional storage. So to me, it's a good combination. There's been another update to the game that prevents you from doing double big storage bins and still being able to operate the vehicle. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, or if you still get it to work, but when I have a seat on one of these storage bins like this, I cannot operate the vehicle anymore. I think I'm treated like storage and not like an operator, so I guess that kind of makes sense. It's kind of a bummer that you can't like double up on your storage, but you know what? It's alright. We could deal with it. I'm set up more for resource running right now. So the base layout is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to recreate it, when you first put down your habitat, or when you spawn by your habitat, depending on whether you're creating a new game or starting a new base somewhere, you want to branch out 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to one side. After you branch out those 4 spaces, I like to throw my research on the end of that and then start filling these in with storage. But as the base grows, you will branch out forward off of these 4 spaces. The first branch off forward will be your vehicle bay. The other, you'll branch off an extra one, and then you want to slightly angle it just a tiny bit. You'll see the slight angle here to the side, and you want to do the same thing on the other side. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it finds that the spaceship tucks in nicer, and it just has an overall more aesthetically appealing look. You have a good power distribution model this way. You don't get too many bottlenecks because really your highest power consumers in the game now are your fuel condensers. So by having a fuel condenser at the end of its own chain, having its own battery backup that is branched off of into other areas too, depending on the needs of the base, plus having a reserve battery backup at the end with a layout like this, you will have a very efficient, well-running 24-hour base. As you can see, if one turbine isn't going, the other one is on the other side of the base, usually day or night, so that keeps you topped off. But the real charging happens during the day when these two solar panels kick in and they distribute the power pretty evenly throughout the base. Why this setup? As your base grows, the first thing you're going to start doing is researching. So when you set up your base, you can either do it one of two ways. You can either branch your research off on the short end here, or you can branch your research off on the long end. The reason why these are good I guess facilities to the base is because actually this isn't such a good end, believe it or not. This is a better end, the trade platform, but I branched it off that way instead just to be different and weird. Honestly, a trade platform on one end and a research on the other, really good, because you don't get a lot of drop-off storage, and you could use those extra storage bins at the end for your wind turbines, or for storage, or for batteries, depending on how you're handling your storage. But with this layout, never really had any power problems. Very nice. Good, make fuel most of the day, part of the night still. I'm not sure if I can demonstrate how much fuel I can pull. But you could pull a lot of fuel. And when you're ready to go on your space adventures, your cargo ship is pretty much ready to roll. And I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show off the base, show off the people. As soon as I get their names, I will put their names in the description of the video, give them some credit, because they really helped me out so much with the build, and I really appreciate how they gave me a hand. But like I said, Chief Engineer has a horrible memory. Can't remember anybody's name ever. So, was so much fun building it. This is going to be your base demonstration. Oh, one more important tip for when you're building bases and doing stuff. The walls really do help with the storm. In case you get caught in some other part of the base, you can continue to work. And the wind, the blocks that they blow around, those are what get you really. If you get hit by one of those blocks, it's like game over. But you could pretty much still operate the base pretty well even during a storm. So that's really nice. The reason I have this other smaller base off here in the distance is because when you're working and you're building up your base, you're probably not going to get a spaceship right off the bat early on unless you're really, really lucky. So you'll probably end up starting off with a shuttle to try to go to the moon and pick up some more blueprints for the stuff that you're working on. And in order to prevent ship overlap when you're parking, it's good to take a little habitat just a little ways, set up another place so you could park your shuttle down there, and that'll prevent the dreaded ship loss through one ship landing on top of another. So this pretty much ended up being the parking area. And another tip, in case you didn't know, every time you build a vehicle bay and it gets powered up, see, I'm not sure about that, I need to test whether it needs to be fully powered up or not for it to function as a landing site. But when you build a vehicle bay, and that's pretty much it. It becomes a new target on your overview map when you go up into orbit, and you'll be able to move your vehicle here and still be able to target it not too bad. I found this distance to be pretty good to have no-brainer targeting for when I want to land my ships. So I hope you enjoyed this quick tip video on Astroneer and setting up the perfect base layout. See, my turbines are going. Are they both going? See, if one isn't, the other one is what I've found. And like I said, it keeps your power topped off. So if you like the layout, give the video a thumbs up. If you want to recreate it, tell me how it did. If you create a variation of it that you really like, you want to share that with me, let me know. I want to see what you did. But like I said, thanks again for watching. This is Chief Engineer signing off.